I want you to succeed at things that you never thought were possible, and I want you to fail at things that you never thought were possible. But I just want you to take that failure and move forward.
This morning we're going to talk about the image of black men in our society. Black men are 6 times as likely as white men to be murder victims. They are 2.5 times as likely to be unemployed. They finish last in practically every socioeconomic measure from infant mortality to life expectancy. And some think that black men in America seem almost an endangered species. It's interesting that many people perceive black men as less intelligent, less productive, more hostile than the rest of society. We thought it would be interesting to confront these stereotypes. We have with us this morning to share their insight 3 very interesting men. Ishmael, how do you feel?
I should just stream my whole fucking life.
Yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, like, it would serve as the same thing that you're doing, except it's through a game, you know? Like, when people, like, do podcasts, I always tell them, or even anything I think that anybody should listen to, like, visuals always work.
Well, that's why that's why you see those videos now where it's like, we're talking while fucking somebody's getting that random disease that puts the skin shit in people's arms, and I hate that thing. The holes? The fuck is that?
Yeah, it's like tryptophobia, some shit like that.
Yeah, well, whatever the fuck that shit is, I'm scared of it. I don't want that shit ever.
I don't know what startled me more, that thing itself or the fact that that shit actually has a name. I could Google it.
Yeah, when you Google it's the worst shit ever.
And the funny thing is, I'm putting myself through that because it still scares the shit out of me.
So, if you're on your phone, you can obviously find it, the video. You're live in it. I tagged you in it. Share it to wherever you want to share it. Share it to your platforms and shit like that. That's how I do it. Also,
I thought you were talking about tryptophobia. I'm like, bro, I don't want to see that shit.
I'm not sharing tryptophobia to anybody. I got some motherfuckers I'll give that shit to right now.
Shit is fucking startling, dude.
Oh, shit. But the fucking...
Oh, that's it.
I share this shit on my page. Yeah, I can't.
Nigga, you shared that shit with my personal Facebook.
I shared it with both.
Yeah, I don't mix the two, man.
I don't know that guy. Can you share from the other thing?
Yeah, I could. I just don't want my family seeing me do this on my personal Facebook, though.
I'm shutting this whole...
You know, Boston's way too fucking small.
All right, I'm closing it then.
No, I got it. Yeah, it works. Yeah, nigga, he wasn't lying when he said he was gonna go live like right now.
Nah, nigga, tell him. Listen, tell Pierre Luis, nigga, just close your eyes.
Wow, bro.
And then on your phone, if you want to see like the actual live comments, just make sure you turn your phone down because it will double up and you'll hear the audio and shit like that.
No, it's already open. I'll delegate that to you, anyways.
All right.
Yeah, no, I don't want to boast, you know, just like almost eclipsing 17,000 followers of people I don't even know.
I don't even know. I don't know anybody. I mean, whatever. Put that shit in the GTA Black Planet group. I don't give a shit. Get this shit going. Talk some goddamn video games. But in any event, as I always started out, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Imperfect Podcast. I am your host, L. Rey. It was supposed to be 3 weeks in a row, but it wasn't. It was 4 weeks for the next episode. So here I am. What I realized today, and I'm joined today by the creator of one of the biggest black gaming groups I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen one that's as big as that. And it's specifically a GTA / kind of Rockstar Red Dead Online group, if you play those games. But kind of this is where I ran into him and I saw what he was trying to do, and it was absolutely kind of amazing to me, even though he didn't think it was, but to me it is. But without further ado, my man Frisk Plays GTA. How are you tonight, sir?
AKA Bloodbath, AKA Mr. GTA Black Planet, AKA Mr. Jean-Felix, whatever you want to call me.
This is the only Haitian man in the world without a Skype. He had to create it earlier. So that means he's not old enough to have it like y'all had it. After the PTI phone cards, and then Skype after that.
I got WhatsApp for a second family, so that would be just right.
What I realized earlier today, this is crazy because last night I got a new quote from my home insurance, and they were like, "Oh yeah, your payment went up $600 a month," and I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about?" So I go in and log. I call my mortgage company, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's a pretty high premium." So this is last night. I scheduled an inspection and a new insurance quote. And the inspector came today, sent me the inspection. I sent it to the insurance, and they sent me a new quote by today. I say $4,500. Do you understand what that would have been in like 1950?
Too fucking
That would have
much.
been like go down to the post office and get a stamp, and then bring the stamp over to get it notarized, and then fucking mail it by fucking jockey and horse.
But rightfully so. You live in Florida, so I would assume that shit would be fucking crazy, anyways.
Yeah, I still needed to get a horse. But
Florida Man Chronicles. You fall into that category, by the way.
Yeah.
Even though people don't know what you be doing down there.
Listen, I don't even know what I be doing down here. Motherfuckers, anytime people say shit when I'm in other countries, we live in Florida. Or they say shit about other countries. Oh, that shit's dangerous. I live in Florida. What are you talking about? Florida is the most dangerous. Because Florida is like so dangerous. Like if you go to, like people always like, oh, Colombia is dangerous. And I'm doing my event in Colombia this year. And it's like, I mean, if you walk into somebody, it's like impoverished, poor, or drugs, or something that's like, this dude's really starving if he has to rob you. In Florida, like you could litter or some shit like that, and then like some crazy fucking white guy is just gonna be like follow you for 3 blocks and be like, what the fuck was that? And like hold you up at gunpoint because you did some shit. You're like, what did I even do? Like that is not happening in these crazy other countries. White people aren't following you for no reason. Have you ever seen the episode of Atlanta where the fucking lady follows the dude for the whole episode on a wheelchair?
Yeah. What was that mocking?
It was mocking.
It was during
the fucking riots.
The riots.
These motherfuckers was busting out the back of a Target, and she was like trying to fucking stab people when they came out with a knife. Like, bitch, what are you fucking Superman after you fell off the horse? Calm down. And then some dude came and hit her with a fucking fire extinguisher. Just the whole. Like that shit's not happening in fucking the heart of Afghanistan. Like that's not happening there. Like nobody's stopping outside Target and stopping you with a fucking wheelchair. Like that's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like you're like trying to drive it for purpose for yourself.
It's so crazy that we really lived through all that, and like we just like fast forward into 2024 and just like supposed to all of a sudden just forget about it out of nowhere.
I thought about this shit earlier, and I said it's because Uncle Ben got killed. Because Spider-Man let that dude go, and then he killed Uncle Ben. So now every white person thinks they got to stop that dude right there. Because he's going to go kill Uncle Ben.
Crazy fucking story arc, man. Not to mention, I just can't wait to see how they fucking parody Florida down in that new GTA, honestly.
It doesn't need to be a parody.
How crazy it is.
The Catch Me Outside girl lives here.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, she's pregnant, you know.
I believe it. Why not get pregnant? Bitch made $20 fucking million in like 2 hours.
On OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like as soon as she turned 18.
Yeah. That means every motherfucker in Dubai was like, "What? Why would you not? Why would you not?" If you, like that's where women are like, "Yes, we don't get paid equally as doctors." It's like there's not a fucking guy on planet Earth. I don't know if somebody knows somebody like tomorrow that could just be like, I'm gonna turn on my OnlyFans and make $20 million for a fucking day.
That easy too. I'm kind of waiting for Ice Spice to go down that road. That music thing isn't really working out for her.
Ice Spice.
No, I swear to God, like if you compare her revenue that she makes from music in comparison to what she would make on that, come on.
Yeah, but that's like
you don't need like
for me like WNBA players, college female players, like they immediately you should be like, oh, that's the girl that you know. You build up your following, and then you just decide to. And it don't even need to be crazy. Like there's somebody that signed on and didn't even fucking share any nude shit or anything like that, and it was just like, oh, this person's fucking rich.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what I really want to say, but that equal rights thing really just fell out the window ever since that platform opened up.
Well, as y'all know, I am really going to say what I want to say, whatever I want to say. Have you seen my Haiti episode?
No, I
Really?
probably would have been. I probably would have been offended by it, honestly. And
You
the
have to
fact that
see
it
it
wasn't.
now.
Wait, who was on there?
Two of my friends that are Haitian, one Harold and my other boy who's like literally has a Haitian passport, but he's light skinned, so they call him Petit Blanc everywhere.
Peter.
Nah, he like more light skinned than that.
Oh,
I have an episode with Peter, but that was about police. I think we scrapped it because the audio was so bad because this nigga was in his backyard with the worst internet ever. That was my first
no,
episode, actually. No, I might have that. I think he's on there. First episode, second half of it.
no, I gotta see. I didn't even know you had a Haitian episode. Honestly,
It's the best shit ever. So
I believe it.
Harold, who teaches first responders in Haiti CPR, that's what he does. Like that's his life work. And then my boy Marshall, who's Haitian as can possibly fucking be, like he also went to school in Miami. He got surrounded by Haitians because they didn't think he was Haitian, they thought he was Cuban, and they started speaking Creole, and they were like, "Oh shit, all right, I'm gonna go back to the White House." But yeah, definitely watch the episode because it's one of my best episodes as far as information because it was like a 3-string episode of just different places that you can travel. I gotta do a Colombia one next. I gotta get somebody from there to do it. But as far as like your GTA Black Planet group, and I mean, what made you start that group and explain a little bit about it? Because I haven't really got into it, so I want you to kind of give people an idea of what it is, what you think about it, and kind of what you're doing out here in this online world.
Well, I mean, that was something that happened all by accident. Obviously, like in 2020, with like where the social climate was, with Trump being in office and stuff like that. You know, I never actually dwelled in like Facebook groups or anything. The only thing I was ever in was like those semi-pro ones, and God knows I don't have the patience for that shit. But I actually never even started the group personally. Like it was actually a good friend of mine, Cam, who actually did it while I was at work, and I just helped along the way. And I never actually thought about building a community or anything like that. Like you know how GTA goes, like everybody has a crew and they want to do this and the third. I wanted to do a black crew. That's it. And you know, he kind of went rolling with the ball, like, oh, let's create a page, and you know, that's kind of when I started doing like the outreach and stuff like that. You know, I kind of just like started taking the load and you know, just started doing a little bit more outreach and see who would be interested. And little did I know, a lot of black gamers that were on these Grand Theft Auto pages on Facebook were actually looking for other black gamers to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a need there that just wasn't ever actually addressed because I don't know, nobody ever actually took the risk to do so. But this started like I want to say early 2019. But the funny thing is, like, people don't know GTA Black Planet for what it is today. That actually started December 11th of 2020, and that's when, like, you know, we kind of revisited the idea. But between that time, nobody actually ever thought about making a group or community for black gamers, for Grand Theft Auto players in the span of that time. You know, it's been copied here, like here and there and whatnot, but it's not exactly the same thing. Like, you know, sometimes when people see people of other color, like people of color make something, they feel like, oh, we could do the same thing too. But you know, it's not really catered to in a sense like how I do it. And that whole platform's taken me places that I never thought I would go to. Like, been out to LA and met with Sling Johnson. For people who don't know who that is, that's the guy who played Black Jesus in Lamar from GTA 5. But you know, somewhere along the way, like I was never actually tailored to do any of these things. But you know, sometimes when you feel like you have a calling or an actual purpose, you know, you kind of just start putting things together and you meet people along the way. That's kind of like how me and you started getting a little bit closer. We started bonding over the game and whatnot, and different avenues and whatnot, you know. But the people that I've met there along the way who, you know, kind of like gave me ideas and just kind of motivated me to like keep it going because it was actually life changing. You know, there's actually stories on there where people would be like, hey, you know, I'm going to jail tomorrow. I just want everybody in this group to know I love them. I'm like, ooh, nigga, like, what did you do? It's like,
Remember when we was playing the game? I did that shit in real life.
and it's like, it's funny because you don't think it means much to everybody because it just goes on day by day by day. Like, people just talk about cars, all types of bullshit, but then there's somebody that's there who's making a connection with the people, with the concept, with the page itself, and actually means something to them. and then you kind of sit back and you tell yourself, like, what you're doing actually matters, So that's why sometimes, like, if I do take a hiatus from it, I gotta come back and I gotta give it everything I've got, and I've just gotta, like, take it more to what it's already at right now, especially with, like, the next title coming out. But if we're being honest, like, most people aren't playing this game that they're playing, 2K, Call of Duty, Madden, all that other bullshit.
Well, I mean,
But
what?
I'll say this.
Go ahead.
No, I'll say this. Like, the one thing I've always told people, like, if, like, I was in a meeting or anything, I would say, Grand Theft Auto is the only game where you could play, where you could, practice self-expression through cars, clothes, just about anything, just to kind of be yourself. So it's kind of an escape for people. It's not that deep for me. Like, I play for the music, and I play for shit like this. Like, I'll get on the game with you and play for, like, God knows how long, because we're conversing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really care about what happens in the game, because I feel like it's bringing people closer together.
I know. I've done shit with you in Red Dead, so I know you don't give a shit.
And that's the thing, like, and that's why I don't put my gamer tag out there, because I really don't take it serious at all. But at the same time, it's like, if we're on the mic, I could play for hours. That's what I really get out of it at the end of the day. So.
But that speaks volumes, because in the way for people, it's like, you do take it seriously. It's just a part of it that you're taking more seriously than they're taking seriously. So they might be taking the game more seriously than you're taking the actual interaction of life, or giving out information to somebody that's like, yeah, this is where you're at, or, you know what I'm saying, let me help you out with this, or somebody going to fucking jail the next day, and this is the only people that they're kind of talking to when it comes to those type of things. Yeah, that speaks volumes. It's like when I say to people, like when I tell people, oh no, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna pick up my phone, and somebody else tells them that, I always know who I am as a person. Like, my consistency is going to win out, because I'm not lying. It's always going to be like that. I'm always going to pick it up. I'm always going to be there to help you. People I haven't talked to for 5 years. Motherfuckers that went to jail and called me because my number has been the same. I called T-Mobile the other day to upgrade my phone. They were like, thank you for being a customer for 21 years. I'm like, oh, shit.
Christ.
Yeah, never off. I didn't switch to Metro or Sprint. None of that shit like y'all niggas out there. Nope. I was with T-Mobile.
Don't say nothing about Metro. We've all had to start somewhere.
Yeah, and I started at motherfucking Cellular One. But what was the highest number that you kind of got to in the group? I don't remember, like, as far as the amount of people that were in the group.
So the groups, it's actually happened 3 times. So the initial one, that was like GTA Unlocked. That's the one that Cam created. That was 142 members. At the height of the pandemic, like throughout 2022, for the 2 years that we're active, what's currently known as GTA Black Planet right now, was actually 5,100. August 26th is when we got shut down, and that was probably like one of the. So I'll be honest, like, one of my good friends, Ross the Gamer, he sent me a DM. He was like, "Yo, I just got this. It said, your page hasn't met compliance with Facebook, blah 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 blah. We shut you down." The power of Adderall literally takes away all fucking emotion. So 2 years of work down the drain. I was just like, oh, well, that fucking sucks.
You get so many messages like that, like from random Indian motherfuckers, that I'm like, is this real? Like, I get 20, like, fucking
this was the
5 a day.
It's like clicking a Facebook page and them just telling you, like, this page does not exist. And I had to tell a whole team of people, like, hey, the page just got shut down. Like, what are you talking about? And you gotta imagine, like, 100 people DMing me, like, where's the page? Where's the page? So in an instant, I gotta think to myself, well, what's gonna happen if I let this go on for a day? Somebody's gonna make another one. They're gonna claim ownership to it. So what do? I gotta go out and I gotta make another GTA Black Planet. So imagine going from 5.1K to 100.
What?
After 2 years of work, outreach, promotion, so on and so forth, especially all the old content posts that people put on there, all just lost. But right now, today, we're back to 4.1K. So a year later, we're back to 4.1K, which is good. But, it's just kind of disheartening to see how and why it happened.
And what is that? Do you know that reason specifically?
I didn't know that reason up until maybe 6 months later, what it was that somebody who was really bitter about about the fact of them not being in the page reported any single thing that had to do with killing, gangs, or anything, so Facebook could say like, "Hey, this is an act of terror," so on and so
Yeah.
forth. But somebody sent me a screenshot of somebody like saying like, "Hey, be careful of them in your group. This guy has his own page." This and the third. And the crazy thing that person was black, and it was like one of those like extremely Philly woke niggas, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like you knew what this was about. You knew how much work that
I'm
got
biggity
put into
black,
this,
blacker
and
than
it's just
black,
like,
y'all. I'm blacker than black.
yeah, bro. So
Because
I'm
of
just like,
black,
it
and
kind
I'm
of
back.
surprises me. It's like those things can get torn down by your own people, but it's just like, instead of being bitter about it, it was just getting right back to work. I just reached out to a few people who I knew care about the platform enough to like get the word out and like, hey, this is what happened. Don't panic. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get back to business. But what it really showed me was that in that short time of adversity, I saw the people who were willing to give up because it's not what it was before. And I'm just like, the only person who should be distraught about this is me. Like
Mm-hmm.
as much money as I put into everything and all that. But a lot of people fell off. A lot of people moved on, and it was understandable. But nowadays I kind of wish they would just kind of look back and be like, damn, like he really did it again. You know.
Listen, I said
So
this going. It's the same thing in me doing the two food trucks and going from one to build it another one that they won awards and everything. My partners are younger, so it's like, yeah, wake up, do this, go, 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 go. But in your mind, in my mind at least, I try to explain to people like, yeah, I've gotten up so many times, but the next time could be the time where you don't get up. You can't get it back up to the level that it was at before and be able to, execute the way you've executed to this level. I mean, you're talking about essentially 3 years for you to go to 5K and 1 year for you to go to 4.1K. That says a lot about specifically you as a person and the connection that you made with those people. Because any other person that was in that group could try to do that and pick it up again that fast, or just drop it to the point where, oh yeah, I'm just gonna let it. These motherfuckers beat me. Go to other groups. It doesn't work like that. This shit is not about anything that's video games or groups or anything. It's just the way that you carry yourself as a person and the character that you have, and the way that you're able to get your points across and connect with more people than you're not connecting with. Because it's like I said last episode with Ralph, like, yeah, like in fucking biblical times, you'd be 5 people could take over a fucking state. But it ain't that no more. You talking about goddamn 9 billion people on this fucking earth, and goddamn like you're so outnumbered, and all you can do at the time is just be as genuine as you can to, you know, grab as many people as possible when you have the time to do it.
yeah, and to your point, like that is true, but at the same time, there's this thing that Dave Chappelle said in one of his specials. He was like, like gay people always get flack for being gay, but the weird thing about it is they're living their true selves, and yet people hate them because other people aren't living in their true selves. So like when I'm genuine and I say like, hey, I want to see black gamers, black content creators prosper and do this and that, and it's like I'm not doing the same things for myself. Like, but at the same time, I do have a belief in people that they can do these things. Like I had a mutual friend of ours. I said like, hey, bro, you're home all the time. You could be a content creator. Got him all the equipment. You can do this. You have the charisma to do so. Like me, I'm more on the marketing, networking, and outreach side of things. And I can see the potential in people. Like I work in banking, which is a total polar opposite of somebody who would sit there and be like a content creator and whatnot. Like, my life is boring. It's nothing like to really brag about. But, when people see like, you're genuine, you're willing to like talk to people, everybody like likes you, like you're the
Mm-hmm.
guy, you're relatable. And that's the number one thing you gotta be. You gotta be relatable because I don't necessarily want anything from anybody. Like I feel like, most other groups, what they do in general, not just like Grand Theft Auto groups, it's like they have a farming system where you join the group, but you have to subscribe to my YouTube, you have to like my Instagram, you have to join my Discord. I don't do any of that. My whole thing is put all your stuff out there so I can subscribe to it. So when my homeboys see like Fritz subscribe to it, I'm gonna subscribe to it too. When that person does it, it's like a domino effect. But it's like, yeah, all the things that you say sound great, but how much flack and hate I've gotten over that within the past 3 years I've been doing this, it's made me a lot more enemies than it's made me friends. And what's crazy is I've always told these people like, you have the potential to do X, Y, and Z. but you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself, and that's crazy to me. Yeah, you have this platform that you're willing to go against because you think it's a popularity contest. It's not a popularity contest. Like, the only way that we can get across any kind of platform or any kind of point that we're trying to make is having a purpose and giving people a service. For example, like your Tropic Bowl. I thought it was just, a whole thing about people going over there and playing football. Like, no, when you show me the videos of people actually going there, like actually doing things in the community, like people are gonna respect that. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this. But when I realized a lot of people aren't really socialized to like really get their point across or get their creations across, everybody has that entitlement attitude. Not everybody, but certain people have that entitlement attitude when they see people like T Grizzly or Kai Sanat, who are content creators, and that success doesn't happen overnight. You got to build to it. So even just as recent as yesterday, I saw a guy just like go crazy on the community. It's like, I don't get no support on Instagram. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm like, well, in the back of my head, I'm like, sitting there thinking to myself, how much have you supported other people? Like when you go to the barbecue, like what did you bring to put on the grill? And then you say like, there's not enough food. Like, well, yeah, fucking right. You didn't bring anything,
So I'll tell you, like, what you're dealing with. Imagine dealing with that shit in person, because what Tropic Bowl has been over those years is like you're filtering that type of person in person. So like all you can count on as that at that point is kind of what we've gotten through to the point now where it's like everybody that's there, for the majority of the people that are there, are understanding of my character and what I am. So it's like if somebody acts up, then you have other people correct that, and then if somebody decides to attack, the person that created it at that point, then it's just like, are you fucking crazy? And everybody comes together and just crushes it. Everybody, for the most part, that is there and understands what I've given to them or understands everything that I put into that, comes together and just fucking puts that shit the fuck down. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So like, it's almost like, because my next question is, how hard is it to admin those type of groups?
I mean, it's damn near impossible because you got to realize like not everybody's socialized the same. I've come to just recently realize that not everybody's going to be coming with the same sense that you are. And and me, like I don't do the whole beef and back and forth bullshit. Like I just don't have the time for it because I could easily just turn my phone off and be like, I'm all good with it, But at the same time, like, there's an inferiority complex where some people don't feel so great about themselves, and us looking like each other, we don't give the same amount of respect that we give the people who don't look like us. So many times you see on that page, there's a lot of things that you would see they would say to me directly that they wouldn't say on the bigger pages with white admins. Like I'll tell you, like, yeah, just DM me, we can talk about it. But it's like the moment somebody gets my attention, they like have the opportunity to like get me to talk back to them. They're gonna try to put on a show. It's like, oh, watch me disrespect. I'm like, bro, I'm not really with all that bullshit. Like you got time. Like it's 12 o'clock. I haven't even had lunch yet, and you're complaining about a game. And how many times have you seen that exact phrase on the page before? Bro, it's just a game. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have to get to that point. What I've realized specifically with this niche is that people don't really necessarily separate the game from real life. Like for some people, it's therapy, and I'm like, I respect it. Some people go out of their way to like make content, enjoy the music, or just like vibe and like be in a party chat. But then I've realized like this game is actually some people's lives.
Yeah.
It is not mine. I will play this shit twice a week, and I'll be just fine without it.
But I mean, it could be. You might and you might not. It could be an outlet for you the same way it is. Like some people are obviously doing it too much, and y'all stealing cars, and you're stealing my fucking creativity and stuff like that. And me, like I'm trying to be as creative as I possibly can in that shit. But I'm trying to be creative. I said to myself, I think it was like 9 years ago. I said, if ever I see somebody with something that is just like crazy, like where did this motherfucker get that? Like if it's a piece of clothing or a hat or some shit like that, I will always tell them from that point going forward, because you never know what that person's going through. You never know what they did to take that extra step to go, yo, I'm gonna search for this shit. I'm gonna be the motherfucker with this. I remember at the time I was thinking about it because I had a shirt. I made it of the Coming to America, the bill that Akeem was on, and it was the bill. The whole front of the shirt was that. I wore it in one of my episodes. And I remember when I was in Costa Rica, this dude was like, yo, that shirt's crazy. And I was like, yo, I love that feeling. So I always wanted to be able to give that feeling to other people. So even like GTA, I have one of the outfits I have in this shit is like a fucking leopard jacket. It's from like the most random place. And I posted it. One time somebody in the group was like, yo, where'd you get that jacket? And I was like, yo, you got to get it at this spot right here. Some place that nobody ever checked. Because as much as shit is going on and as much as people create the same thing, you can still kind of find that individual is like, if I go to the PC shit where you can create whatever you want, you have no idea. I would take that shit to a whole different level of what you can create. I would spend time just creating the newest madness. I would put my own clothing in there. I wouldn't go and say, oh, I'm gonna make Gucci jackets. I would just make my own shit. Like a part of me just wants to go, yo, just stop doing this and design for Roblox, like for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and that's a whole different world. And I think the fascination with GTA in general comes from a lot of people, like, you know, watching like T Grizzly. And I think you've seen the articles where he talks about like he makes, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, like around $250 a month or something like that. And it's a fucking insane number, and it's mind blowing how much, you know, participation and understanding can come from like one person and flows down to everybody else, and everybody makes money off of it. And I think it's definitely possible. And I'm just like, you know, sometimes it's discouraging that, you know, we're not to that point. Like, it might not be in the same number because, you know, none of us are celebrities and everything like that. But it just all takes working together. But, you know, that whole thing just sounds so cliche when somebody says, you know, working together.
Well, nobody's like, a celebrity until they are. That's the problem. And the problem is that if people see the celebrity part of it beforehand, they think, me, and everybody thinks me. And even in the case where you were thinking you, somebody still turned it into me. That's crazy. And I've seen it happen to me millions of times, so I understand exactly what you're talking about.
You know, it's insane because, like, one of the coolest things that's happened in doing all this, like, you know, I went out to L.A. Me and my girl, we went out to L.A. And, you know, we met up with, like, Sling Johnson and his team, and we were just, like, you know, we were just, like, hanging out. Like, they were just, you know, sitting there smoking. Like, I don't smoke. I was on Adderall and tequila the whole time.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
Just having...
It's fucking worse than smoking. And I know from experience.
And the crazy thing was, like, when I met Sling Johnson back then, and it was, like, crazy because I was, like, heading to the restroom, and he was walking out with, like, one of the partners that he was with, and he just looked so exhausted. I'm like, damn, bro, like, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm just tired. I'm like, and I realized, like, this guy's literally just working. Like, he's making ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only difference between him and me working at Capital One at the time was I'm in an office all day, and he has to be in different locations.
And you was making more money.
Being somebody that... yeah, you know.
That's what people don't realize. This nigga got a couple TikTok videos, but you're making more money. Like, so these motherfuckers do beat themselves to death. Like, and even like in the case of somebody like Kevin Hart who makes crazy money, you see his fucking shows, motherfuckers going from 5 a.m. to goddamn. And I'm like, what do you want at the end of the day? Is this what you wanted, or do you want your time? I want my time. That's kind of the most important thing.
And that's a fair question because, like, you know, realistically, when people are like looking to go viral, be famous, and like whatever, in this, like, you know, content creator sphere, it's like, do you want all that to be rich, or do you want all that to be famous? Like, me personally, I don't want any kind of fame whatsoever. I'd like to see everybody win. Don't get me wrong. If there was some financial gain that could be gained from all this, like, yeah, I'd enjoy that. But realistically, are you really willing to, like, flip your life 180 to be in the spotlight, to literally have no privacy? So every time you go through a breakup or you look, you know, busted up in public, that the spotlight's always going to be on you. You know, like, I don't
think it works like that. Like, I think somebody gave me advice. Like, anybody that's given me business advice when I was younger said a couple things. One of them was that, yo, there's a time where you need to turn your phone off, and that's it. Don't take calls after that. And the other one was that always be ready to take it and scale up to the next level, because if you're not, it can be the death of you immediately. So I think that when people are like that, they just think like, oh, when I get to 5, it'll be fine. That's enough money for me. But then 5 can immediately turn to 10. And then 10 is overwhelming. And 10 is go here, unless you're like, yo, fucking stop. And when you think of even superstars, I mean, there's only a handful that were just like, fucking stop. One is like Rihanna. She was just like, yo, stop. I'll do whatever I want for the rest of the time being. But then if you caught yourself in the wrong contract. You did this. It's like, no, there is no stop. That's what happened to Michael Jackson. He went to Sony. No, this many albums, this much fucking time. Like, what do you mean stop? In his mind, it was like, I don't give a fuck about that. Stop. But then all that other shit comes. They try to throw dirt on you, and it is what it is. And it's crazy because it's a segue into, well, not my next question, so I'll save my next question for later. But this one is, do you think that there's an age limit on video games? And if there is, what is it?
It's definitely not 32. And we'll talk about 33 when I get to that point. No. I mean, I don't think there is. I mean, like, my dad, he's 69. Every day he has the same routine. Like, he goes to the gym in the morning. He does his thing, like, during the day. He's a family man. And, you know, he plays FIFA every single night. You know, he's not on there with anybody. It's just something that he likes. He likes soccer. He plays video games. And it's cool, you know. But one of the things I'll say, it's like, people who go out there and be like, well, why are you playing video games if it doesn't make you money? I'm like, you know, you start thinking about stuff like that. You put a price tag on anything, you're going to find a hard time enjoying it, because if you start playing video games tomorrow and you think you're going to start making part-time money and you don't make, you know, $150 a day from playing video games, you're going to lose the passion in that. And I think it's pretty subjective. I don't think there's a limit to when you can and can't stop playing video games. Like, I'm not crazy about it. Like I said, at the end of the day, you know, I feel like it's more of like a work thing for me now, because I'm dealing with the page, dealing with the brand as a whole at this point. But you know, when I play it right now, it's just to get on, and I use it like a chat room with people. Like, just like yesterday, working with a good friend of mine named Kyle, and you know, we're talking about starting a podcast for GTA Black Planet, and you know, it's something that should have happened a long time ago. But at the same time, we're using the game as an avenue to do something that everybody else is already doing, but it might just be a little bit different, you know. So it all depends on how you use it. Like, if I ask my dad why he still plays, he might have an entirely different reason as to why I still do it, you know. So
I mean, and that's a great question. That's a great question for him, because so like the point of it for me is like, it's life enjoyment. Because like, if you just said to yourself, oh, okay, I'm fucking 15, I'm turning this shit off, and for the next 20 years, I'm just going to try to make money or try to be successful. And then at the end of that 20 years, you're still making the same amount of money, or you're still caught in the same rate. Even if you're making more money, but you're still in the same situation that you were in before. You just wasted 20 years sacrificing what at one point was so enjoyable to you. I remember like going into Uno's and asking the lady for crayons. And she's like, oh, you guys, I said, let me get crayons. Can we get crayons for all of us, everybody at the table? And then I ordered like an old fashioned, and she was like, oh, haha, you sure you don't want an apple juice? And I was like, haha, that's funny, but there's no age limit on art. There's just age limit on your perception of your fucking ability to be miserable. So if I'm enjoying what I'm doing for 20 years, guess what? That's 20 years that I enjoyed my life while you were sacrificing for something, and we ended up at the same place, except we make the same amount of money, and I enjoyed my 20 years more than you.
Yeah, and that's what kills me, because that's kind of like why my day's been going the way that it has, because, you know, I'm at the point right now where, yeah, I have a 6-figure job, but has it brought me complete happiness? Fuck no. You know, and it's like, that's why I say, like, there's other ways of, like, making money, but to sacrifice your own happiness and whatnot, that's when you really got to ask yourself, like, you know, what are you really living for, you know? Like, you know, creating the group and the brand that I did, as I said, it was all by accident. But it's something that I could definitely, like, leave behind and, you know, make it something that'll last. Because like I said, it does mean something to somebody. But realize, like, you know, I'm sitting at I think, like, you know, once you made 6 figures, you know, you're gonna, you know, buy your black Cadillac Escalade, you're gonna be happy, this, that, and the third. Man, I'll tell you this, like, I haven't been so miserable since I've actually started making X amount of dollars, you know. So that's why it's like, you know, I'll sit here and I'll make videos, I'll do a podcast, and I'm not really thinking about the money. But I think when people compare their lives to things that they see other people doing, they put that price tag, like, oh yeah, T Grizzly makes $250,000 a month, but then realistically, when you get on YouTube, you see that you're only making $52 after 3 months.
Realistically, on YouTube, if you have 1 million views, that translates to $600. 1 million.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole algorithm that comes behind it, and I think we got to get more realistic. Like this shit is not gonna come overnight. And that's with everything. That's with Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Like I just started making like those bonuses or whatever on Facebook and stuff like that. And it's cool, but like you see the bullshit that I post, it's like memes that relate to GTA. But the only reason I love that stuff because it's fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Facebook just happens to pay me for it. But at the same time, I'm not like trying to achieve a goal. It's gone to the point there were times where I was like putting 12 memes out in a week, and I'm just like, well, I could just put out 3 on Friday, and the algorithm won't fuck me over, and it's just fine. But at the same time, I'm not doing it for attention. It's like Fridays. I realize like when I make memes on Friday's the only day of the week I'm really looking forward to getting out of work. I'm enjoying myself the most, and I know it's the end of all this bullshit. But if I force myself to make content throughout the week where I know I'm like stressing about work, life, and everything else that's going on around me, it won't really come off as genuine. So that's kind of why I wait. So it's kind of amazing when I see people put out content like every single day. I'm like, are you doing this because you enjoy it, or are you trying to hit a quota?
Yeah, I mean that's a great point. That's a great point because I realized that one time when I just logged on my YouTube and I was like, I'm just gonna post this shorts of these fucking tomatoes. That's it. Then I wake up in the morning, it's like 7,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I've actually thought about this shit sometimes. I posted videos with thought behind it, and it's got like 120 views, but these tomatoes somehow got fucking 7,000 in like fucking 10 minutes. So it really is all about timing and all. I think my Facebook's broken, so it's not even I've been banned so many times that they're just like, no, we're not sharing your shit. And that's fine with me because I don't care, because at the end of the day, I just want to leave kind of an amount of information that's on there, because 4 years, 5 years after the fact, I've seen people come up with shit and I'm like, yeah, I said that 5 years ago. So to have the proof that I put down, or to have the proof to go back, I remember somebody, he was like, my windshield broke. And when his windshield broke, this is like 10 years ago. I said, yeah, he's like, it's going to be $500 for me to get a new windshield. I said, because remember, I said, this is exactly what happened. So he was like, yo, I just got this new car insurance, and it's way cheaper. And I said, yo, Massachusetts car insurance is not cheaper by any insurance. It's all by a point system. I said, so what you had to do is drop a level of your coverage. And I guarantee you what you dropped was your windshield deductible. He said nothing. So 3 years after that, this motherfucker's on Facebook. Yo, anybody know anybody that fixes windshields? They're trying to charge me $600 to fix my windshield. So I commented on, bro, what are you I fucking told you when you got the policy. Nah, no, you didn't. You know damn well I streamed all the way back 3 years. Fucking screenshot of that shit and put it right in the chat. There it is. You just want to be living and you just want to complain. But I'm trying to give you the answer. So if you don't want to hear it right off the rip, then that is what it is. But to have that amount of information, and to be able to do stuff at that speed, I kind of feel like I was made for this era to kind of have all that information. But every single time I look at something like streaming, I feel like I'd be absolutely great at it, to put my personality out there and this and that. But then you also feel like, am I late at it? Great and late. So, I mean, you basically went into streaming for a little bit. What made you start that? What made you stop that? And obviously, if I wanted to go and do it tomorrow, what would you recommend as far as doing it?
Well, I mean, I would say don't look at it for money. I started it, I want to say November of last year, and I literally stopped it in probably like December or like January or something like that, because I realized it wasn't for me. I was doing it because I seen everybody else was doing it, and I'm like, one of the things I look at nowadays, it's like I don't watch people stream at all. The only person I do watch is one of my good friends, Ross the Gamer, when he does like his car meets and stuff. But outside of that, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and watch you do something I could do myself. It's like when I watch my nephew watch these kids playing with their toys. I'm like, oh, you got the same shit right here. Like, just use your own, But I would say don't do it for a dollar amount. Do it because you actually have something to get across, and you actually have content that you want to put out. Like even with the whole Taxi Cab Confessions thing that I want to start for GTA Black Planet, that's more of a recorded segment. I think it'll be cool to do it live at some point, but that is something I want to do because I'm getting to know the community that I've pretty much been building with the team for the past 3 years now. It's worth getting their story out there. Like, it'll be dope to have you on there and talk about, how you play Red Dead, what you do on your free time, because it's like, oh, yeah, I know this guy. That's the guy that runs FTL. Oh, he's a gamer? Like, what does he do? He does this, that, and the third.
Yo, motherfuckers would join me at Red Dead, and I'd be up in goddamn Alaska. They'd be like, what are you doing? My wife, this is a real ass story. I started playing Halo for a little bit, like really crazy. Got the controller and shit, and I was really going in on it. But the shit was making me mad. Like, I'm like, yo, I gotta hit these numbers. Like, these ranks are bothering me, and how much it was knocking you down. And I realized the algorithm in that system was literally making it so you constantly would just keep playing the game. And my wife comes in one time, she goes, can you play the other game? You were like way more calm when you played the other game. She was talking about Red Dead. Because Red Dead, I could just be on that motherfucker 3 hours. Like, I'm just out here looking for shit.
The funny thing is that brings me the most enjoyment to gaming, and it's like really contradictory because I don't game. Like, there's 4,100 people in the community right now, and I don't play with all of them. But at the same time, I've had an interaction with at least one of them. Like, there's always something I want to take from a conversation where I can bring up, like, where we could possibly have some common ground. But everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason why they're playing the game. Everybody has a reason why they're part of the community. Everybody has a reason to actually want to say something. They just want to be heard. And I think it's been a disservice that for like the past 3 years, I haven't done my best to get their story out there. And that's what I want to give back. Like, I'm not a celebrity by any means, but, for perfect example, every time Sean Fontana, the voice actor for Franklin in GTA 5, he goes live, if I say, hey, what's happening, bro? Hey, GTA Black Planet, those are my people over there. Mind you, he didn't take me serious until he found out I was a real person. But now we have a kind of rapport where if I say something to him, he'll respond back. If I go live with him, he'll do that. If I ask for a shout out, he'll do that, whether that be through Cameo or just on Instagram. But, like, all that stuff is cool. But at the end of the day, the only reason I did this was for everybody who wanted that, that I don't want to call it a safe space, but that community where they could be themselves without being judged, and we could call it ours. So I think the best thing I could ever really give back to the community is actually help get their voice out there, because I tell people, if you want to create content, that's cool, but you can't hide behind it forever. You could put up these car meet videos, you could put up all these GTA pictures, but if nobody knows what you sound like, what you look like, how you carry yourself, how is anybody ever really going to take you serious?
Well, people,
and I think
what people don't understand when it comes to those type of things is that it's very hard to tell their story when you're writing your own. And even the most famous of people, whether it be Kai Cenat or fucking Mr. Beast, like, and obviously Mr. Beast is fucking huge. Like, you're not telling a lot of stories along the way. It's not like you grab somebody and go, yo, I'm telling their stories. You're helping people, yes. But you're still not bringing people in, oh, this is their fucking story. Because it's very, very hard while you're doing your own thing and while people are trying to pull you. I mean, for God's sakes, Mr. Beast is fucking 80 goddamn different places in Africa drilled into fucking water so they had active water. And you still have people like, I can't believe this guy's recording that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he's doing. I don't give a fuck if he records it. That's how he makes the money to do it. So you still have people hating on you at the level of you doing something that actual governments in the world could not do. Overnight is insane. So those are the type of things that people, you still have haters for shit like that. So imagine what these motherfuckers are saying about you. And you can't do nothing about it. Well, this motherfucker works at a bank. Like, okay, this motherfucker is literally giving people water that never had it before and changing people's lives and giving full schools computers and giving motherfuckers Lamborghinis and Ubers. Like, and if you hating on that, of course you're going to hate on me. I'm just a regular ass fucking guy trying to do what I can to the people that I encounter. And yeah, you just get those people. Listen, I've seen them in multiple different races. It's just you have a sourness about something that you think that you deserve, but you didn't earn it. You just didn't put the time in. You didn't earn it. And even when I tell you, yo, here it is, do it, you can't even do that. And then you want to be sour after that. What the fuck you want me to do? You want me to fucking wake you up, walk you to the fucking studio, put the game on for you, fucking sit you down in a luxury chair until you become famous and then fucking forget about me anyway? Like, the fuck? These motherfuckers are crazy.
Yeah, that's why I always thought it was really contradictory, because it was like, I'm not saying like I'm a nobody, but at the same time, put in the effort to actually make something that people recognize. And it's kind of flattering nowadays where people get on the page and they're like, oh, there's white people in here. I'm like, okay, and what? But they're the minority. But at the same time, they're welcome here. They understand what's going on, or they've spoken to me, and they're like, oh no, we should probably change the name to, just the planet. And somebody came out of nowhere and said like it's a brand name at this point. You can't really do that, and that's just what it is. Like I said, even in the past, there's been people who've like tried to mimic the whole idea, and then this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, I'm not looking to be in competition with anybody. I do want to see everybody win, but at the same time, I'm not going to compete with anyone. Like, as humble as I come off, I don't think anybody's going to have the patience to do anything I've done within the past 3 years. And the people that have tried, I've seen them fail at doing so. And I'm just like, man, you've ruined something that could have been like a great partnership to walk away with, 300 followers and a little following with like a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of yes men next to you. The admins that are part of GTA Black Planet, they all do their own thing. I know them personally. They all have my number. We can talk. I call them friends. But at the same time, it's like I never tell them what to do. Like the only time, if I say something to them, they know something's like really wrong. And like ever since we, brought the page back up the second time around, we haven't really had to have those conversations because we're just aware of the fact that we're not going to make the same mistake twice. To have leeches in there trying to tear down something that actually means a lot to some people, But it kills me that this whole thing turns into a competition sometimes with content creators or anybody for that matter, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be the next Elon Musk. I think the best thing we can do is help build each other up, and we can just take, help each other enjoy the success along the way. But it's like, it's just such a naive way of thinking that some people look at and be like, you know what? Nah, fuck that. I'd rather go in a competition with you.
I mean,
and in essence, when we just start cutting each other down before we could even get our next foot up the ladder, and it's insane to see that happen like just about every day in any niche, like not even just Grand Theft Auto, just people just trying to like make it or just make any kind of passive income,
Yeah, I mean, the difference with me is that if you want to compete with me, I do want to compete, and I'll fucking kill you. But just say it. Because I'm not competing with you on a regular basis. Like, I'm not competing with anybody on a regular basis. I'm looking for everybody to be great. But then motherfuckers are sitting at their house trying to compete with you. So I can do that. Just let me know. I'll hit the Kobe button and we can do that. Because I got that. I can turn that shit on overnight.
That's the crazy thing. It's like, after everything I've told you, like, none of this was meant to be a competition. But as much as, like, my efforts have been mimicked, I think when people realize, like, yo, he's been doing this shit for free the whole time. Like this outreach and all this, that, and the third. Like my phone, it got to the point where my phone was just like always on red. Like I would tell you, like, it's not easy at all. Like I would wake up, like when I started working at Capital One, I would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, or even sometimes 6:30. I would go to all these Grand Theft Auto groups and I would just like message people individually, one by one, till about 7:45, exactly when I knew I had to get in the shower, get ready, and be at the house. I would do that every single day. And then the next day, like Facebook would tell me like, oh, you've exceeded this, that, and the third, you can't message. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I went on Instagram and I liked a whole bunch of things from GTA creators over and over and over and over and over again until Instagram told me, you've exceeded X amount of this, that, and the third. I'm like, fuck. Okay, well, what do you do next? You go back to Facebook. And you do that day in and day out, and like, the fruits of your labor are actually people coming and seeing like the effort that you're putting in to get them into something that is going to benefit them, And all that shit was done for free. And so by the time I got on the train, like my phone was like damn near dead. But that's the effort I put into the page. Like when people just look at it as a group, this and the third, they don't know that I've had a conversation with just about everybody who's walked through there before they get there, And that's the part that kills me because, like, why do you want to see something like that torn down? Like, what about that do you think is going to be a competition? Because if you want to ask yourself, are you willing to wake up an hour or two earlier every day to build up your platform? Not a lot of people want to do that because there's no money in it. I didn't do it for the money. It just got to the point where I realized that there was a need for Black gamers to play this game together and just kind of collaborate and just kind of like share ideas. It just took me a while to realize like why people from the South were so crazy about like these dunk cars. And I never owned one in the game because you don't see shit like that in Boston.
I don't own that shit now, and I live in Florida. that shit out of here.
But it's like you realize like we all live different lives, and it just got to a point. I'm like, man, I've been playing this game one way, but then I see these guys who do car meets, who do like fashion, who do all types of different stuff, and I'm like, it opened my eyes to realize, okay, there's more than one way to play this game. I wanted to stop playing this game probably, I want to say like 2018 or so, like when I actually learned how to play it, I actually made money in it. And that's when I ran into like Cam, and we started racing. I was racing,
Ugh.
and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. I became friends with him, and he didn't know how to make money. I'm like, oh, do this glitch, do this, do that. I showed him my garage. He looks at my garage. He's like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, how did you get all this? I'm like, just do this. And I kind of just put everybody on. And then when I saw what he started spending his money on, I'm like, damn, I never knew like people were into stuff like that. So that gave like that gave more life to me, because when I started meeting more people, I realized like different people from different parts of the world are socialized different, and they care about different things, to the point where I realized, okay, this is where the whole self-expression thing comes in. And I'm just like, I do everything so vanilla until I learn something from somebody else, and then it becomes of interest to me,
Yeah.
And that's why I say like this game particularly, and even with Red Dead, even though it's like you're playing like the slavery days and shit, it's like that's the only platform you can use to like really express yourself, like depending upon where you're from and how you've been socialized. And I think if I would have just like one day said, hey guys, pause in the group, this has been a whole social experiment, you could put a whole thesis as to how, if we were to have our own city or have our own land, how this group or this community could be a microcosm of how things would happen if Black people were just to have like their own space.
I mean, I think
That
it's
was something
I think something like that is completely time and experience driven. If you mix people with the South, if you mix white people with the South, I totally say in Florida, like these fucking Boston white people, they don't understand that these Florida white people are like black people, like the poorest of black people, and you're standing up there on your high horse because you understand these motherfuckers exist, and they've created this narrative on TV to make it seem like everybody's up there. But trust me, I drove into a neighborhood and there was 10 white kids running around dirty as shit, barefoot, and I'm like, yo, this was in Boston. All y'all motherfuckers be locked up. Ew. Exactly. So, I mean, you have that on one end, and then on the other end, where I went to the first free slave town of all the Americas, Palenque, outside of Cartagena, Colombia, is 4,000 Africans, no crime. All it is dark-skinned people, and all they do is have a support structure that supports each other. They don't even have a police force. So there's two sides of it, but a big part of GTA, Black Planet, or any group that oversees kind of the younger mindset to counter this, kind of stupid TV or hip hop drug narrative, is to show them that no, there is situations where everybody's living copacetically as fuck, and this kind of dog eat dog or crabs in a bucket shit is not everywhere. But if you see it in your own experience and you're immediately mixing people, like it's like taking fucking 50 people from jail and throwing them in with 50 people from Wall Street. Like it's just gonna be messy because there's no understanding. You're arguing about whether you want a McLaren or a motherfucking box Chevy with donks on it. Like okay, I want to drive fast. Well, I just want to sell drugs and drive slow. Like the mindsets are just different, and it's almost like until you create a bigger narrative of what you want to talk about, then you almost box yourself into what's there. So like the next step of that could be like, okay, we're doing this in person, and then in person you minimize it down to real life shit. Like, oh, it's like I remember you saying you wanted to do a cookout before. You do a cookout, and then it's like, yo, real life people enjoy this together. It's the same way that you would see like an office orientation where you have icebreakers and you hear shit about real people, and they have to build teams of people that are just like this. You're gonna have people that step up to the plate, and you're gonna have people that fucking fold all the time. No matter where you are, no matter what the race, no matter what the country, any place I've been, you've had weird ass motherfuckers that act weird, and you have people that just were there, like, yo, damn, oh, this guy's chill as fuck. But I guess moving on to the next question is kind of what your opinion was of the trailer for GTA 6, and what you think you want to do for that, or how you want to be ready for that. Because I know I want to stream, so if you want to do that back end shit, we can set that up, baby. I got that.
The funny thing about that is, I want to say it was like around the release of Red Dead. Dan Houser, one of the founders of Rockstar Games, said, "Thank God I'm not doing GTA 6 in the age of Trump because of how quickly things would die out." And this was back in 2018, 2019. And I was wondering why he said that. And one of the things that really stuck with me is like within 24 hours of that coming out, the amount of think pieces that came out off that a minute 30-second trailer just like dissected the whole game without any gameplay whatsoever.
Yeah, like way too much. Way too much. See this
and
person? There's an alligator in the background of the back of a pool. It's from 1997 that was like that. I'm like, bro, too much. You got to get some enjoyment out of this.
And I usually keep these things to myself because I hate, like, if there's a bad update in GTA that comes out or anything like that. I hated the fact that the trailer came out as early as it did because it gave too many people the opportunity to put their stamp on it. For example, like on Twitter, a lot of women were just saying, like, whose son am I going to buy this game for? Like, everybody just kind of put their interest or whatever flocks attention to them on it, to the point where it's just like, man, I've been putting this burden on my back for like 3 or 4 years to like keep this game alive, and there's a resurgence in there, and then it quickly dies out because nobody's talking about it anymore because everybody's more upset about the fact that it's not going to be coming out for like another 12 months, I guess you would say.
But that's where we are with every fucking thing right now. This lack of attention span and this quick, everything's got to be like, here, take this right now. I explained to somebody I can't even remember. No, I think I did say it to Ralph on the podcast about that movie Creed 3, where it was like, this motherfucker's mom died on the phone, and the next scene was a fight. I'm like, what? Like in Rocky 2, this motherfucker was reading to Adrian for a half an hour of real movie time when she was in a coma. And you just said, oh, yeah, hey, by the way, Creed, your mom died. And he was like, oh, shit, okay, goodbye. Fight. No sad, no emotions, no nothing. So that's made for you stupid, slow motherfuckers that need everything to be super fucking fast and the delivery to be given to you. As to where I've referred shows to people like The Wire, and they're like, oh, this shit's too slow. I can't understand it. And I'm like, yeah, because you can't understand people. You've got a lack of how people really work. You think it's, oh, my mom died. Hang up the phone. I got to go fight.
It's funny you mentioned The Wire. I literally just finished watching that, binge watching it a few weeks ago. But, even just getting back to the GTA 6 thing, like, I'm excited about it. But at the same time, there's like a level of sadness I experience with it just because, like, and I've called on you about this plenty of times where it's like there's a beef happening or I've lost a friend or a partner in this whole GTA Black Planet thing. I thought that game was coming out in 2020, which is why I thought it was like the perfect time to make a platform for Black
Christ,
gamers.
That would have blew up the fucking internet if that shit came out during the goddamn lockdown. Oh my god.
No, literally, and a part of me is
Tiger King. Tiger King blew up. Tiger King if Tiger King came out in like fucking 2018, that shit would be like, it would be non-existent. I can't even think of the worst shit ever that I saw in 2018. Like fucking, what was that movie with Nicolas Cage? Snake Eyes that came out a long time ago? It would be like Snake Eyes. That movie sucked. But, Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think it's bittersweet to see it come out. Turning 33 in April, but at the same time, it's like, I still feel like I have a service to give to the people of GTA Black Planet, the brand itself, and the fact that people still recognize it. For me to just like let it sit there and die out, I don't think it would be fair. If you go on Twitter, you look up a lot of black journalists, black gaming platforms, and stuff like that. You'll see that the last time they tweeted was like 2018, 2019, and I just don't want to fall into that category of the thing that was like here and just kind of died out.
And then you kind of pick it back up like, hey, I'm back with GTA.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of hard to do that because, again, at some point, somebody's probably going to replicate that here and there. So I think the only way to really keep it that momentum is like, just kind of going about, doing things like this, having a monologue with people in the community who are still active there, who still want to get their story out, or people who don't play anymore who still want to get their story out, just kind of like, just talk about their experiences and what they're looking forward to.
Well, to even go back to it, like I wasn't playing at all. Like I played the game before you. Like I played the shit. Like as soon as the online came out, I was on that shit. I tried to tell you, like when you got ran over on the street, all your fucking money from your job was on the fucking street. Everything you just made, or you had to literally drive because now you can just get on your phone and make a deposit. You had to drive to an ATM and put that shit in the bank. Like, put that shit in the bank before somebody gets you. Because if you get ran over, even if you got ran over by an NPC, your shit's all over the street. So that shit was so crazy in the beginning, and then it took like a year and a half for the first heist, and it was that Pacific Bank shit. And I was like, all right, that was it? Like, what the fuck's going on? So I just stopped. Like, I had helicopters in my garage. I was glitching like crazy. And then all of a sudden, you guys hit me up, and I'm like, motherfuckers still playing this shit? And then I'm like, futuristic flying cars, fucking what the fuck? But it really is that fun.
It's still evolving.
It's like what you say, like the niche that you can find in it. Just say, yo, I'm gonna fucking do this for fucking 2 days. Can just be fun. Like, it's just like, yo, I want to get on it and do this or speed around, or you find different. Like, I didn't know till I got back on when I got that random fucking Porsche that the tires made a difference. I thought the game was just like fucking whatever car and they're fast and whatever. But then when I got in this shit, I was like, oh, this actually does make a difference. Whereas, because I played a game like Gran Turismo until the fucking endurance races. Like, I had shit really going to the point where I played that game to the max. And even this game, like, I feel like for something like GTA 6, if they take the shooting mechanics of The Division, it'll be absolutely flawless. Because I fucking hate the shooting mechanics of GTA. And the other thing I fucking hate is the fact that you can't do anything stealth at all. I could fucking snipe somebody from the top of a skyscraper. This motherfucker looks up and he's like, he's up there. Let me shoot him with this 9mm.
Yeah, and I guess that's why Red Dead is so great, because you're more of an expert at that game than I am. Like, I can't tell you why I play that game, maybe because the graphics are a little bit better. But that game really makes you think, and it does require a level of skill. But sometimes I look at Grand Theft Auto and I'm just like, man, this seems like a game that was not supposed to be as big as it was, and it was an accidental success that made it possible for games like Red Dead to exist or games like GTA 6 to exist. Because again, this sometimes it feels like an incomplete game for what it is, and they just add things on there to like really keep your interest, like the random events that happen in Red Dead, like some guy gets bit by a snake, you save his life, and he's like, oh, I owe you one, and then you randomly go into roads. He's like, hey, this is the guy I was telling you about. He saved my life. Go in there and get you what you want.
Yeah.
Like, what game does that?
Bro, the first time I ever realized how serious that fucking game was, I had a headset on. I was playing the regular game because people have been playing GTA online so long that they don't remember in the real game. If you're in the ocean, you'll get hit by a shark. That shit don't happen online.
Yeah.
So I was in fucking Red Dead, and I'm like, I killed this dude down in fucking roads, and I'm like, all right, let me just throw this motherfucker down by the water. I was gonna throw him in the water, but oh, maybe the alligator will come get him. Like, how real is this game? So then I'm going to get the other dude and bring him back. And when I brought him back, this alligator comes out the fucking water and grabs him. The shit was so loud on my headset, I thought I got attacked, nigga. I was like, oh shit. Oh, what the fuck just happened?
That's what's insane to me, because the level of realism that Rockstar puts in their games, like, it really makes you look forward to what they're coming out with in GTA 6. And like I said, some articles have shown like that game has like a $2 billion budget for its production.
And what was it? What was the 5 budget? Like 300 million something?
GTA 5 was 500 million. Right. And this game is like okay with barely any interiors or anything like that. So I mean, it gives me a lot to look forward to. I just don't want to get to that point where I'm at the age I'm just like, you know what? It's kind of like I want to pass it out to the next generation, because I feel as if the reason I don't really talk about GTA as much is because I don't really look at Rockstar games. I look at Take-Two, the parent company, and I see what's going on with them. And so I try to look at the politics of it. And I think it's like, games like this are really coming to an end, because all this it's all corporate now. It's not even an industry where people are trying to cause disruption, because I think gaming in general, people are seeing the kind of money that it brings in, and publishers are capitalizing off that, and we're the ones that's actually really driving it to the point where people don't realize that Grand Theft Auto only updates itself semi-annually after the earnings report. Before, if you play GTA 4 or anything like that, that game was just so raw. You had Indian guys saying the N-word, this, that, and the third, and it was like comedy back in the day where everybody just said everything that they wanted to say.
Well, I played Ghost Recon on the original Xbox, so you had everybody saying the N-word.
like it's not even like it's not a safe space anymore. You know, it's like it's so money driven now that it's not really about the consumer anymore. So I think like we're starting to see like gaming in general. It's not something that the consumers really control. It's what the publisher is going to be. But like that's the issue I have with a lot of things nowadays because it's like, how much money do these fuckers need nowadays?
I mean, I think that you can put that on anything because, like I say, when you look at '80s movies,
just to recoup from the pandemic.
If you look at an '80s movie like RoboCop 1, that shit was rated R. People don't even know that. People think, oh, RoboCop's a kids movie. No. The 80s movies are fucking crazy. It's like titties everywhere and blowing motherfuckers' heads the fuck off. But once they got the actual numbers and the backing of it, now you get into the 2000s where it's like, oh, every single time we get to May, we're putting out a kids movie because kids movies do the most. And now until really Deadpool, every X-Men was like, oh, Wolverine's going to use his claw, but nobody's going to bleed. So that we can keep it within the rating system so that the most amount of kids can watch it. So it's actual, like, it's all numbers up to this point now where people, GTA really, the last thing that it's missing is like how Crazy Taxi was, where it's like there's sponsors. And that's the last thing. The level is the last game where they're just like, I don't give a fuck. This is what's going to happen. There's going to be hookers in the fucking alley, and I'm going to be able to fucking hit this guy in the head with an axe and then run down a fucking street. And I think that's the last thing where it's like they're just betting on the gruesomeness of our society that is going to keep it going. And then when you just combine that with Florida, yeah, it's going to work.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about that being at your home state, though? Like, even just looking at the trailer itself, like, how much of that did it really capture what you've seen down there since you've been living down there?
This is like real life. This is like this could be in a GTA trailer. But I remember when I first moved down here, there was a voting. It was I think it was the governor. It was Ron DeSantis who's the governor now, and Andrew Gillum at the same time. So we went and voted, and I'm like, yeah, I'm voting for this black dude. I don't give a fuck who this other dude is. There was a guy in the parking lot with a Trump flag on a pickup truck with fucking horns on the front of his pickup truck that was raised up doing fucking donuts in the parking lot of the courthouse. And I'm like, this seems to be a little intimidating. So like even now, when my friends are like, yo, Trump, blah, 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 we make money. And the motherfuckers that are in Massachusetts are like, yo, I made more money than, and I'm like, I get that. But did you fear for your life every time you left the house? Was there a motherfucker doing donuts in your 7-Eleven parking lot that just looked like he would throw a can at the back of your head like they did to the girl in A Time to Kill? Like, that's what I'm really talking about here. Because these motherfuckers are really crazy. And at any given point could be feeling like they're well within their rights as an American to kill you. And I've seen that happen. Like, what GTA doesn't show you is a guy killing a black dude for parking in a handicap spot in the same fucking city that I live in. That's exactly what happened. He's yelling in the dude's wife's face. The dude comes out and he's like, yo, why are you yelling in my wife's face? Pushes him on the ground, and the dude shoots him dead from the ground. And you know what the fuck comes from that? My doctor says to me, yeah, well, I mean, you can't park in a handicap space. I'm like, well, you die? The fuck are you talking about? I park in handicap spaces all the time. Like, this is the logic that this dude puts on people to think that this shit is right. Now, mind you, I have an officer, Clearwater Police, where I live, come to my house, and I'm like, yo, what do you think about this case? Dude goes, yeah, he's going to fucking jail for a long time. Because the cop actually understands how this shit works. And the doctor understands how Fox News tells you how to think. And I don't watch any fucking news. So at that time, I'm like, Jesus Christ, you really believe that it was okay for this dude to patrol the parking lot of a motherfucking Circle K and go, it's like the motherfucking episode of SpongeBob where this nigga's the hall monitor and he just starts fucking jumping into people's houses like, you gotta keep this window closed. I'm the open window maniac. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, no, nigga, you're not the police. You're not Mr. fucking handicap space. So it's like something like that where, or I was doing an event one time. This lady's like, oh, that's a nice necklace. Where'd you get it? And I was like, oh, got it from Colombia. And her middle-aged white mind went to say, hey, yeah, whoa, you can only get stuff like that there. Did you hear about the lady in Costa Rica? And I'm like, the lady that got killed in her Airbnb? She's like, yeah, it's crazy dangerous out there. I go, oh, I'm sorry, I live in Florida, where a lady 2 streets away from me buried her fucking baby behind a fucking rec center.
Jesus
Exactly.
Christ.
So those are the type of things where people are watching this TV and watching who the president is or whoever it is and saying shit and just think it's okay to be acting like a fucking piece of shit human. And I'm just not about that life. So I'm always going to give the people the information. They're like, yo, reset yourself. This shit is crazy. You keep letting somebody think it's okay to act like that. And it's just not okay around me. I'll cut you down real quick. I'll cut you the fuck out of my life if you think it's okay to just be a piece of shit out here. I don't give a fuck if you're my family or somebody that I knew forever. I will not let you stand next to me and just be a fucking piece of shit. On to the next question. What was the first?
No,
Go ahead. You got something?
no, I mean you're right, but at the same time, it's like, I think we had this conversation a long time ago. Like, after people being cooped up in their house for like 2 years, it's really unpredictable. Really unpredictable how people are going to act. After having not really been properly socialized for like God knows how long. And that's why I'm like, I was afraid to bounce for a while because like with all these like active shooters and stuff like that, you're just kind of weird about like where people's mindset is, and you kind of wonder why they act the way that they act.
Bro,
I definitely do agree with you on that.
I was literally doing security here in Florida, so I see it all. And obviously, Ralph was in the comments. He's fucking really does security. This guy walks in one time. It's like 6 p.m. He's on the top of this rooftop, and the other dude that I was working with, like the crew that we had this time. If anybody says something, I trusted. Like, okay, I trust this is exactly what fucking happened. There's no joke. So he radios down to me. I'm at the front door. He's like, yo, I'm bringing this dude out. He's being crazy. Told some lady's going to throw her off the roof. So this is 6 p.m. on like a Friday. Dude comes downstairs. They both walk by me because the dude, like, he's just escorting him out to the end of the property. So when you're security, like, you can only kick somebody off the property. Like, that's just it. Like, okay, stay right there if you want, buddy. You're fine. So the dude walks down to the end of the property line, and I'm looking down. I look down like, oh, damn, what's going on down there? Like, I didn't hear no radio, nothing. And then they're taking a while. My boy's taking a while to come back, so I start walking down. The dude just turns around and goes, no, I don't feel like leaving. It's a white dude. His dad was a doctor. So I walk down there, and he says it again to his face. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. And this is already after you threaten somebody out through. So I'm just like, dude, just leave. I'm going to have to pepper spray you, and you're going to get the police called on you anyway. So he's like, go ahead. Spray me. Right here. I love pepper spray. He says just like that. Now, the pepper spray, OC spray trainer, Ralph, who's in the comments, and this is true 99 times out of 100 times. If you've been sprayed before, you don't ever want that shit again. This motherfucker literally turned around. Yeah, I'm like, yo, what is this guy on? What the fuck is going on? So I'm like, yo, we can't spray him because it's a whole restaurant at the bottom. Like, if you spray somebody, the shit's closed. Restaurant's closed for like an hour. You're getting run off into people's fucking eyes. They're going to be like, yo, what the fuck did your crazy ass security guard do? So I'm like, yo, we got to move this dude out the property. So we go to lift him and just like, yo, you're going to move over here. And he tries to grab my partner by the neck. So I just take us all to the ground. And we're all on the street now. So then I spray him right across his eyes. Boom. This motherfucker goes, ah, it burns so good. Yo. So we get the police called, and we literally have to hold this guy on the ground until the police come because he's constantly just like, he won't chill the fuck out. And he's a little ass dude. So I'm like, this is just a waste of my fucking time. I got to work for another 8 hours after this shit. So the police go to the wrong place, and they finally get there, and they take this dude away. And we see his mugshot later. And this motherfucker's still smiling in the mugshot. And his whole fucking eyes is red as fuck. Skin, everything. And I'm just like, bro, what in the fucking Florida just happened? What the fuck just happened? Like, this is what I'm talking about on a regular basis. Like, that's what in the place where we were doing security, it was like the crazy. It's like the craziest place because it wasn't like, yo, pull your pants up. Like, they had no dress code. But it was high end. So like any nigga could come in from the hood or any like, there was a night where a dude was a low level rapper from St. Pete was in that motherfucker at the same time as Tim Howard, the United States goalie, and the nigga that owns OxyClean. Like, this is what it was. So you just get the biggest mashup of like, how the fuck are we supposed to manage this as security? You got motherfuckers, do you know how much I spend here? And then you got niggas like, what you mean I can't get in with this?
Oh, they love that line. You know how much money I spend here?
Yo, this dude said that this it was a whole wedding party we kicked out one time. This lady goes, you know how much fucking money we spent here tonight? And I was like, how much? Because you know me, I smiled when I said it too. How much? She goes, $400. I said, well, miss, I spent more than that at the strip club in the night. She was so mad. She goes, I want to hit you with this fucking bag. I go, go ahead. You'll go to jail for felony battery on an officer. It's up to you. But this is the type of mentality. It's like, just fucking have fun. Like, you're really over exaggerating what that level of fun is, when you're going to turn it off, when you're going to turn it on, or you want somebody else to have the fun for you. Or I've never been in a fight drunk. So then you have other people that like, just like, that's what they do. Let's go out, and then it's not fun until we can tell the story about us all fighting each other and doing some crazy shit. I'm just like, I have my own like level of enjoyment and a list. I've already checked that off, so I'm gonna leave tonight. But what was the first GTA you played, and what was the first system you owned? Because I played one.
No, it was on computer. I think it was like, with the little top down and stuff like that. And I didn't even know what it was at the time, but I attribute my brother to like putting me onto stuff like that, and like and it was even his intention. Like, he was older, he kind of introduced me to all that stuff. But yeah, I think it was one on PC. Then I think like the following summer we got two, and we never actually saved the game. I just kept on playing it over and over and over and over again.
Oh, you was one of those kids?
Yeah, and it was just like,
there's shit to do in this game? I was just running motherfuckers over.
And they got to the point, I'm just like, yo, why do I have to start over every day? And I think you had to like have $50,000 to go inside a church and then save the game. That's how it worked after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always just been playing. I'm not saying like I'm a fanboy or anything like that. It's just like GTA is like South Park. Anytime the world needs it, or like a Chappelle special, it just happens to be there. Mm-hmm. So I never really gone like a period of my life without it. But I never thought like I'd be doing something like this with it by any means or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, since I was a kid, I've been playing it, but I probably shouldn't have. But
well, when that shit first came out, the only reason I heard about it, I never even played the game. On one, the fucking news article came. I was like, "This game is turning your kids into a murderer tonight at 11." And I was like, "I need to play whatever this shit is." So I'm watching this news today, and then they showed it to me. And it's like they were like, "It's dangerous, it's violent, but." The designers are saying because it comes from a bird's eye view that it doesn't blah 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 and it can stay a game. So I was like, I need to find out what this shit is, and I went to not Blockbuster or something else, and just stole that shit up. Just stole that shit out the case and came home and played that shit. And I was like, oh, this shit is the shit. And then it came to I think PlayStation 1, and somebody was like, yo, Driver is like GTA, but it has a regular view. And I played that game for 2 seconds, and I was like, this game fucking sucks. I returned it. Because I pulled up to the first red light, and the red light stayed red forever. And I'm like, bro. So I run the red light, and the cop just tracing me. I'm like, bro, what kind of... This is like black people laws in this game.
Yeah, like the police chasing that game, well, they were literally next level. Like,
I'm like, bro, I'm trying to not break the law. You telling me this light's never turning green? I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? At least let me explain it when you pull me over. That shit was crazy. So I returned that shit the next day, and then I didn't fuck with it again until I played two. The crazy thing is I didn't play San Andreas. Whatever I was doing at the time, I didn't play it. And it was when I got on it, finally, I was like, damn, you can just like lift weights and have an ice cream truck that sells drugs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this game? You could just stop at the basketball court and play basketball. I was like, this shit's crazy. But then 4, like I fucking really played, and then the Ballad of Gay Tony, I played that whole shit. Because I was like so amazed by you could just take a fucking helicopter through like Manhattan. I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I don't think Rockstar gets enough credit for putting on hits like how they used to. But at the same time, they've slowed down. But at the same time, it's like people always have the argument like, what's the best GTA game ever? And me personally, I always said it was Vice City. Mm-hmm. Just because like that, I think that for that game like really opened up people to like listening to like old 80s music and stuff like that. I just like just being in the 80s and everything like that. The party, the beaches, the neon lights, the cocaine.
Yeah,
it's been a fucking time to be alive.
Well, I've seen Cocaine Cowboys. There was no fucking Miami without that.
Yeah, but honestly, like after playing the definitive edition of San Andreas, I see why people say that's probably like the best one ever because like that was when we could lift weights, be a truck driver, do like all types of crazy shit in there, and like a lot of these things you couldn't even do in Vice City at all. So I think that ranks up there with like one of the better GTA games that have come out. But obviously, like, the evolution that's taken now, like you can't really compare any of the games with each other anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy because that's the perfect segue to my next question, and then I only got one more question after that, which is, what is your favorite game ever? Period.
Like my favorite game out in general.
Ever.
I don't know. Like it'd have to be like one of the GTA's, but at the same time, like when I was in college, something I used to play a lot was like Call of Duty. But no, yeah, well,
Rob,
because
Ralph just commented,
there's
by the
games.
way. He said I really was in the '80s. It wasn't that cool, but he was in Boston. He wasn't in Miami doing cocaine. And,
Oh yeah, that was
he
the
did
shit.
have a rat tail, but he wasn't. It wasn't there.
There was nothing to talk about except racism and clam chowder. I mean, there was so much talk about Boston in the '80s.
Don't go to the North End.
No, I mean, the thing is, I'm not that much of a heavy gamer, man. Like I said, like being 32 now, like I play it just to like relax and stuff. But I don't know. I would have to say like GTA Vice City was probably like one of my favorite ones, just because it influenced me to like really give the '80s a chance, like really fall in love with like some of the old music, like Hall and Oates, all types of like different music that I don't think I would have ever listened to if I never came across it
Well, you would have saw Guardians
through
of the
Vice
Galaxy
City.
and been fine.
Huh?
I said you would have saw Guardians of the Galaxy and been fine. They got Hall and Oates in there.
Yeah, but I was playing that one like in like fifth grade, and all that music kind of stuck with me. So if I would have put anything at the top of the list, it would have to be GTA Vice City, but GTA 6 after that, because obviously those are only two games I ever really had Haitians in it. So
God damn it! There's no other video games with Haitians in it.
Saints Row 2.
I never played that shit. That shit was a mess. Damn.
Yeah, they tried. Yeah, not all our games have Haitians in there.
I heard you say Call of Duty, so I would be remiss if I did not say that game fucking sucks. All of them. Fucking terrible.
I just liked it for the lobbies when you actually had to have thick skin to play that game.
Well,
Now they actually monitor the chat, so you can't really talk all that bullshit no more.
yeah, that is the worst shit about online gaming at all. At all. Like in Halo 2, which is like one of the best online multiplayer I've ever played, if you were close to somebody, like that was on the other team, they would hear you. And you could be like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm right behind you. You can't do that shit no more. That sucks. Because that's fun. And like people are taking the offense level to what was fun and whatever. Like we got called the N-word every day when we were playing Ghost Recon. I didn't feel any type of way. I wasn't trying to like come into your house or like go shoot up a school or anything like that. But obviously, these kids now, what they think is fucking mental issues or mental health issues is just going through the fucking roof. I think actually, other than this Zelda on Super Nintendo, A Link to the Past, the last Zelda, well, not this one, but Breath of the Wild, the one that came out for the last one, is one of the best games I've ever played.
Oh yeah, I bought that Breath of the whatever the wild shit that was. I bought that on my Nintendo DS. Yeah, I'm not built for games like that, man.
Well, the newer one, Tears of the Kingdom, you can literally make anything. Like you can fucking somebody made like Megazord.
Yeah, that I want to do shit like that, but I don't want to learn how to do it. I just want it.
I don't think they learned how to do it. I think you can. I think like if you're putting in that same amount of energy that you put in fucking GTA, some fucking kid will just show up and build you like goddamn the fucking what is it? The tumbler from fucking Dark Knight is in the game. You can build that.
No, it's amazing. Like the level of creativity these kids have, like in games like Fortnite or even Zelda to build shit like that. Because I really don't have the patience for it. And that shit looks hella fun, but I'm not putting that kind of effort to any other game outside of this, man.
Well, it's a lot of time. If you're putting that amount of time in it, then it's whatever. So, I would say,
yeah, but you make these things on your own. They're not templates that are already in the game. Like
I know, I've made countless of them, and I have fucking you get a storage of it how to make it again instantly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my
Speaking of which,
DS right
side
now,
note
but
question: can you beat your dad in FIFA?
no, I don't like soccer.
So I would still beat his ass anyway if I could.
No, he plays that shit every night.
I'd be like,
man.
work was hard, wasn't it? Well, it's about to get harder.
To be fair, he plays it on pro now, but my nephew, who's like 4 or 5, he plays it on amateur. So he's like kind of showing him the ropes. And I think he wants him to be just as good as him doing it, but I've never played him in soccer. I don't really understand the rules of soccer like that either.
What kind of? God damn! You just said Haiti's going to World Cups now, and you ain't even along for the ride.
They ain't going to no fucking World Cup.
You just like, thank you, Clintons, for bringing all this love to Haiti. And coming to steal all of our iridium.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic for another day.
So I mean, last question tonight really is what are your plans going forward as far as GTA 6, and are you ready to get on this stream with me where I'm gonna take this shit over?
I mean, in the immediate future, I think the next thing that I'm doing for the platform, just to even get ready for GTA 6, is the whole taxi cab confessions and doing the monologues with different people, not only within the community but outside the community as well. Just because I mean, like, I do know a lot of people. I know there are a lot of people who do have content, but they don't do stuff like this. I've done podcasts and panels with like Sling Johnson. Been on Instagram Live with like Sean Fontino and stuff like that. But in preparation for that, I think it's best that everyone, even myself, they put a lot more equity into their brand in terms of like gaming, just to prepare themselves. Like if the avenue for them is like want to start streaming that stuff, because there's some household names, like Kai Cenat, T Grizzly, and anyone you could think of. They're just gonna hop on the GTA bandwagon. And there's going to be money to be made from it if you're making good content off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the best thing we can do is like, get people's face out there, stop hiding behind the content, show them who you really are, what you're doing, so everybody really has a piece of the pie. Because, one of the things that these big content creators, what they do is they really sink their teeth into what's hot now, and then when the next thing comes out, that's their next thing. And I feel like that's unfair to the people, like myself and people who actually really love playing this game day in and day out, who've been playing it for at least 11 plus years and whatnot, But in the immediate future, it's going to be the podcast or taxi cab confession series. I'm just going to keep on making memes. But if you notice, if you look at my content on my own personal page, like, I hardly post gaming clips. Like, I post more movies that you're probably familiar with from your time and stuff like that.
God damn, hey, motherfucker.
No, I mean, if we're being honest, like, none of the new shit like really jumps out at me like that, But I mean, that's all I'll do, Like, I've gotten a lot of support. I haven't like really thanked everybody for it, because I think like around last year I was like, at around like 2,000 followers, and more recently just up to like 16 just off of like memes that relate to GTA. And I think like some of the best advice I could give people who want to be like content creators or have a decent following, there's a category of things that you want to do. You're either, I don't want me to be too explicit. It's either you're going to be sexual, you're going to lie, or you're going to give people a reason to laugh. And those are things that people are going to relate to. I choose to go to the laughter category, and that's how I feel, as if I could express myself with my interests and whatnot. And that's really my niche. I don't really do a great job of like recording game clips or anything. Shout out to the ones that do, like Roster Gamer, Gunsmoke Gaming, Black Native Gaming, all those guys and stuff like that.
Please believe me.
Huh?
I said, please believe me.
Yeah, we all have our different avenues of getting there. But I think it's a good time right now to really establish yourself, so people don't look at you as like, oh no, you're hopping on the bandwagon. I'm like, no, this guy's been at it for like.
No, yeah, I'm trying to like, for real. As soon as I clear some time, like, I definitely want to go at it and do some of that shit and get everything that we got to get set in place to be ready to kind of run when that time comes. Because I know between obviously the way you're thinking and the way that I'm thinking, that we can create some shit that's kind of never been seen before when it comes to that type of thing and make it blow up.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of want to return the favor, just for even having me on here, is to like get you in the first slate of taxi cab profession series, so you can talk from your perspective about what you do, because more of it is geared towards not like what I know of you, but like what others don't know about you, so they could get to know you a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
And like I said, that's kind of my source that I want to do for like the coming year. Like I said, I don't want money from it, but it's just like, man, people have been dealing with me for like God knows how long. It's just only fair that I give them something that actually gets their work out there.
Man, well, I mean,
and shines a light on them.
We're gonna do it. There's no question about it. That's the last question of the night. Hey, if y'all like what y'all hear, follow YouTube, Imperfect Audio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, The Imperfect Podcast, Facebook, The Imperfect Podcast, whatever the fuck they're calling it now. But have a great night, everybody. And if you think I'm here to fool around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
Yeah. Wow.